When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Manifest It Now. I'm here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
We're going to talk about self-love this week. So this is something that we can never kind of give energy to this enough, because it's so valuable and so important, and I would say gets misinterpreted or miscommunicated a lot. So I'm excited.
Oh, for sure. Me too. I love self-love. I love love, but I really love self-love.
Can't wait to hear. What are you excited about, Cass?
I am excited because our new bathroom is done.
What?
I know. Jenny and I, we didn't even have time to talk about this. We had so much other stuff to catch up on. I am excited because this all really kind of came together super fast, and it was a good manifestation. But we will now have where you went out the back sliding glass door outside, to the pool area. Yeah. There's now going to be a bathroom there. Like, it'll be a little hallway that's all enclosed, and it has a bathroom. I know, for the pool, so you don't have to come inside and go upstairs or downstairs. Like, there's
drag
a pool
all your
bathroom
wet feet everywhere.
Right. And I know, and so there's a shower and a bathroom, and I'm just so excited because nobody has to like go in, and you don't have to stop having too much fun. So it's super exciting.
That's awesome. That's really good.
Yeah.
We need a new bathroom in our house. Send your guy over.
That's evidence. I will.
That's evidence. That's right.
It's total evidence. Oh my gosh. It happens so quickly.
That's perfect. It's one of the things, it's like kind of ties into what I'm excited about. I'm excited about all the home projects that are getting done. And it's like, it kind of feels like they're endless, but really it's been pretty quick that they're all coming together. Yeah. And I'm excited too, because my brother is coming to visit this week. So it'll be the first time we have someone like staying with us in our home, and he has his own little space, which is great. And it's just going to be great to see him, have family here. Go to the beach with him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Adam time. I love it.
It's great because there's lots of interest in all Canadian family and friends coming to visit us. I told Lisa, I'm like, just so you know, our peak season is going to be in winter.
Right?
People are going to love us in winter. She's like, yeah, I already know that.
You're now the Florida house, right? Like
that's right. Yeah, we're the Florida Gaines now.
I love it. That's awesome.
So self-love.
Yeah, but real quick before that, should we mention, if you want to enroll?
Virtual live event? Yes. Cassie and I are hosting a Manifest It Now Live April 18th. And you can join us from anywhere in the world. You can get some of this magic, get your questions answered, meet other people who are living this way, the LOA way, and just, consciously. I don't really ever describe it as the LOA way. But it's just going to be a really it's going to be open, fun environment. You're going to have some powerful shifts from what happens and the questions that get asked and answered. We're limiting it to 10 people because we want to keep it intimate and make sure everyone gets everything they want from it. So, Cass, how do people go find out more and enroll in that?
ManifestItNowLive.com. And, it's $222 for 2 hours with Jenny and I, with two of us. Amazing. You Manifest It Now host, so there's a lot of twos in there if that's your number. And so you enroll, and a couple days before and also right before, you will get a link to a private Zoom room, which if you're unfamiliar is just a way that we can see each other on the computer, and you log in and you can choose whether you turn your video on or you don't. Jenny and I will, of course, both have our videos on so you can see our faces. We can interact.
We would love to see you.
Right. We would love to see you. You can see us how much we talk with our hands and have all the live fun and laughter and get all your questions answered. So manifestitnowlive.com if you want to be one of the 10.
Awesome.
All right. So self-love.
Self-love. Yes. I'm going to just describe how I describe self-love, like what it means to me first. And then
okay.
I want to hear what it means to you. So self-love to me means feeling the connection with your inner being. So with your true self. And what I describe as self-love is feeling connected to that. And I know this is a little bit different than a lot of people describe it. So, that's what, if you're being loving towards yourself, I think that's a little bit different of like being loving towards yourself creates the self-love within you. But I think I believe our essence is love, like at our core. So when we, in our human perspective, are acknowledging that and choosing that perspective, I feel like there's an alignment and there's a connection, and that's true self-love. How would you describe it, Cass?
The actions, behaviors, thoughts, and beliefs are all lined up to honor yourself in the deepest, like a deeper love than you would for anyone else.
I love that.
Thank you.
I don't think I've heard you describe it like that, especially like the deeper love than you would, did you say would have for anyone else?
Mm-hmm. That's because I decided when you asked, I was like, oh yeah. And I added that, like the deeper than anyone else, because that for me is the key. Like it is when you love yourself on a deeper level than, it grows. All of our love grows. Our capacity to love, I think, as we go on a self growth journey and practice LOA more and become more, like our ability to love grows deeper and deeper. And when we are always loving ourselves a little bit more than the person that we love the most, like, you're in that place, you're in the sweet spot where you're being true in your action, if all your actions, your behaviors, and your love, I just think that's such a good guide for that.
It is so good because it comes like your capacity to love another comes from what you have within you. So if you're always keeping I know some people say this, like your vase or your cup full or something, then you are coming from that place and you have stuff to give. You're always loving yourself a little bit more.
Yeah. And I don't know if this came up when you were talking about it.
Yeah.
So often it's like, but like loving someone else, like if you feel like you should love someone else more, you should, you've been taught that you should give more than you receive. Like, and so if you're questioning, well, like, how can that not be loving if I'm loving them more than me? And the truth is because that love will run out. Like if you are not loving you, like Jenny just said, like your capacity comes from how much you love yourself. Like if you are loving them at the expense of yourself, it will run out. And that is not a gift. That's a burden because once you can't give that love anymore, that's been amazing because it's not been fueled right. Like it sucks to have it taken away. And eventually it will run out because you'll run out if you're not first in line.
If you're not fueled by it. Yeah. First in line.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more in depth. So when we're talking about like giving love, so giving actions of love, so gifts, care, 5 love languages, words of affirmation. But I think most importantly in LOA world is your thoughts. Like if you're not giving loving thoughts towards someone, you're not loving them. And the same with yourself. If you're not giving, you're not fully loving them. If you're not giving loving thoughts towards yourself, you're not fully loving yourself. So let's say you love your children, or yeah, we can use any example. So yes, of course I love my children. I make them dinner every night, and I do drive them here, and I help them with this, and I do that. And I'm like, I resent them all for it. Like, you're taking the action with resentment. That's not loving them, because it's the energy of, I have to do this. Firstly, it's like a victim energy. That's not love energy. That's not giving love. And you're not having thoughts of this beautiful child that you made or raising. It is, I have to do this again. So I think this is a huge part of where we're like, yeah, I love them. I do all these things for them. And we're like, yeah, but how much? I would love for people to take more of a perspective of like, yeah, but how do I think about them? Do I think about them in a loving way, or do I think they should be different? Do I notice more of how they're not being what I want them to be, kind of thing?
Okay, I love that. And then apply it to like self-love.
Oh, right. Self. So I think the most important place that we can practice self-love for ourselves is in our own head, is in our own mind. And so loving, and it is so much practice and like repetition of like, I'm doing okay. I'm doing the best I can. And it's so, I don't want to say this is natural, but it's so common. I guess society has raised us this way that we blame ourselves if something didn't turn out the way we thought it should, or society decided it should. And we go immediately, if we're not blaming someone else, we're blaming ourselves. And that's not self-love. Like, we cannot be our best person when you're thinking within your own mind, I should be better. I'm not enough of this. I'm no good at that. Like, any of those thoughts that are not coming from a loving place about ourselves.
So true. It starts with our thoughts, right? And I think one of the places that this gets confused is with self-care, right?
Totally.
Like if I go get a manicure, I go get a pedicure, like I'm doing self-care, and that's self-love. And that's the action. And what I really want you all to take, like it does start in your head. It's, what are you thinking when you're getting your nails done? Like, are you judging, like Jenny just said, like the blame? Right. Are you judging all the things that you did this week that weren't good enough? Right? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that one goes this way. Or, or like, you're sitting in the chair, but you're thinking and judging, like, I didn't get this done. I didn't get this done. I didn't get a high enough review. I didn't do this. I didn't get that, like, if you're sitting there, or like, I didn't get, like, I just didn't do it good enough. I should have done better in that presentation. Like, the whole time, like, it doesn't matter in theory how good you're taking care of that, because it's still the outside. Like, what's going on in your head is not loving. It's not loving words. It's not engaging in self-love.
It's the same kind of thing, like every kind of, we talk about inspired action, like let the action be inspired. So you can go and get a massage and go and get your hair done from a place of self-love, or you can go and do it because you're trying to take care of yourself, but really the thoughts haven't changed, so the underlying vibration hasn't changed. So and I do feel like, tell me if you agree, like things like self-care are valuable, but it's more of like a temporary, like it's kind of like a Band-Aid. It's more of like a temporary fix. Like, I feel good while I'm getting a massage, and maybe I can relax, and then I go back to worrying about everything I need to do in my life. So really, when you're really ready to take responsibility for the love you feel in your life, and understanding that it starts from within you, from within your thoughts and how you think about yourself, all those 60 million thoughts that go through your head a day, those are the most important ones. Those are the ones that will change your life. And those are the ones that will, like, they'll transform everything. They transform your vibration. And especially starting with yourself it's the best place to start.
It so is. This comes up because I was trying to think of, like, a lot of people will talk about the difference between self-love and self-care. So I was coming up with some other examples. And for me, self-love is really, you can see it and you can make choices and you can start to change those thoughts about money. Like, money is always, it's a huge reflection of self-love. And making that shift, and it's a great way to see your beliefs, right? Because the thing that keeps popping up is, whenever I hear someone say, I deserve it, I generally think that their self-love isn't fully there because they're justifying, like, oh, I can spend this money because I deserve it. When you're really in, like, self-love, it's I want this, and it's true to myself both to invest this money, right? Like, it's not going to feel bad later. Like, you're in total alignment with this loving action of investing in yourself. You're not justifying it in any way.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about? Go
ahead. No, go ahead. Go. Oh, I was just going to say, I was wondering if anyone would say, but, like, I do say deserve it. And I don't think that's true. And it might be, but almost, and it might just be who I am and what I do. But almost anytime I hear someone use the word deserving, like, I can hear it underneath, like, the justification.
Yeah.
So
that's what
just
actually
pay attention
to touch on. I think the idea of, like, deservability actually stems from a place of not deserving it, of, like, unworthiness or not feeling value. And even I believe it's a part of the process, but I feel it's more weighted in the kind of lack part than it is because when you're in alignment with self-love, so, like, you're truly in alignment with your true self, and you don't question whether you deserve what you want. It's not, there's deservability doesn't exist there. It's like, of course, abundance exists here. Endless love exists here. There's no question of whether you're allowed to have it or you should have it, because the core of you knows, like, you're just, like Cassie said, you're so strong and connected to your self-love that it's just, of course, obviously, yes.
Yeah. I am worthy because I am.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Just because I am here, I'm worthy, right? Just because I'm on the planet, I am worthy.
Yes. That's the other thing that I wanted to go to next, is this idea of, like, loving ourselves. So having kind and loving, compassionate thoughts about ourselves because of anything outside of us, you are conditionally loving yourself. So if you feel good about yourself when you make so much money, or when you look like a certain way, or when you have the perfect conditions in your life, that's not true self-love. If you're only loving yourself when things are going well, that's not true self-love, because it's all based on conditions. And it's being able to be kind to yourself for no reason that's true self-love. No, like, external reason. And that's the state that we're truly after. That's where you're going to find the consistency in your manifesting, is when you can achieve that, when you don't, when you see things around you not working out and you're like, I'm still good. I'm okay. I like who I am, even though these conditions aren't what I want right now. It doesn't take away from your value as a human being or your love for yourself.
Yes. And it's so important. What came to me when you were saying some of that was being proud of yourself. A good example of this is being proud of yourself for whatever job you did, and how you did it and how you felt doing it, not for, like, the outcome. Not did your boss like it, right?
Yeah.
Or did you get, financially rewarded for it or whatever, but did you feel good? Do you feel good? And being proud of yourself for the way that you show up in the world versus how someone else sees you show up in the world, or how someone else rewards that showing up in the world.
Yes, 1,000,000%. I would say that what you just described, Cassie, is, like, one of the, I don't know where this word's coming from, but, like, pillars of why I feel like why my life is so amazing is because I am very grounded in like, I like who I am in this world more than anything else. And if I don't like something, I change it. It's like, it's on me, and it's not about what happens outside or if someone doesn't like me. I like who I'm being. If I want to be this way, I'm going to be that way, or I'm going to practice being that way and grow into it. But it's because it's like, I was proud of how I moved through that. I've had a crap ton of situations not go the way I wanted, or, you know, things not work out, but I was always aware of how I was being in the process. And I was always doing my best to be as kind as possible. And it gets easier and easier to myself through those times that didn't seem ideal. And that's the process, is like paying way more attention to who you're being to yourself in your head through all of life, no matter what the conditions are.
Yes.
Kind of feels like
that.
Like next level manifesting. Like this is definitely on that taking self-love to another level.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, self-love is like with anything else. Like then you find there's like another level. Like it's, you're like, oh, like I thought I couldn't love myself more, which is what's happened in relationships too, right? But then you're like, oh, like I can be more loving over there. Like I've grown, and now I'm like, oh, yeah, I can support myself more there. I can believe more there. I can talk to myself like even better, right? Yeah.
Let's talk for a second about the difference between self-love and like boastfulness. Because I want to see if I can come up with an example, because self-love is not saying to everyone, I'm amazing. Self-love is like the deeper knowing. So sometimes like in an interaction, or you're observing, this came up with one of my clients. You're observing someone else have a conversation about something that you were a part of in the originality of it, like in the actual event taking place. And then someone's describing the event, taking credit for, say, something that you experienced, or that was the, you know, quote unquote credit was actually due to you. So self-love in this case is not jumping in and saying, hey, actually, I deserve the credit. So when you're grounded and you know your value and deeply, you're like, oh, they must need that for some reason. And it doesn't take anything away from you or your experience, because you're so connected. Like you just let them be who they need to be in that moment without trying to, you know, insert yourself there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I will also say that it's like a reciprocal relationship. As you're telling that story, the more I fell in love with myself, the less I realized I needed to do that. Like it goes both ways, right? It's like being like, it's a sign as well as you can become aware if you're doing that you're not fully loving yourself. But I remember noticing like the more in love I was with me, the less I cared about that. Like I could let someone tell a story that was like, that's not right. Or like, no, like this is how it happened. No, like I did that, you know? And it's like, okay, you're right. Like I know what I did. I'm like, I am secure and I love myself enough that I don't need to say that. I know it.
Yeah. That, and the same thing of like it kind of plays into righteousness is, you know, when you're grounded in your own self-love practice, you don't have a need to be right about everything or really anything, because you know what's right for you. And that's the only thing that's like the power of that vibration is so. Speaking of our episode last week, if you want to go into online dating world with the most attractive magnetic vibration, just be so grounded in who you are. You'll attract the other people like that. Yeah.
Oh man, I had a point I wanted to make. Self-love. I lost it.
Okay, so what about if someone's listening, and because we don't all start out with amazing self-love. So how do we practice this if we're not feeling it super powerfully. How can we practice this?
Start with awareness, which is always our answer, right? Become aware of, pay attention to the thoughts, and like hear yourself, which actually is interesting because that's a self-love action in itself, is like to actually hear what you're saying. Because if you love someone, you listen to them, right? But I think what happens is people stop listening to themselves, and so they don't even hear those thoughts. And that's why they start having thoughts and they say things to themselves they would never say to anyone else, right? And so
Cass, have you ever seen that meme that was like, if you wrote on your body, on your skin, everything you think, and it was like on the out about yourself, like on the outside for the world to see. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good example of that, because we have a tendency to be so critical towards ourselves. And what if everybody knew that? Like it was written on your skin. Pretend it's written on your skin because it's written in your vibration.
It is. and it's one of those things, like it's a weird thing that you will talk to yourself that way because no one else can hear you. Yeah. Right? Like I said, like you won't talk to your best friend the way that you might be talking inside your head, but because no one can hear, you keep doing it. So one of the things that we could give people is to just start writing down. And I always love, for any exercise where I'm getting awareness, I like to set a timer on my phone. Because sometimes when you go do things like this, or you want to, you want to start a practice and you're like, okay, I'm going to become aware of my thoughts. But like when, and eventually you want to become aware of them all the time, which is the practice that I did and was very successful. When you're starting out, like just set an alarm for 3 times a day and catch the last thought you thought about yourself, right? And just write it down, because then you have to see it. Then it's not hidden in your head. And that awareness alone of like what someone else might see that you said to yourself is a lot, just to bring awareness to more thoughts that you might have like that.
Totally. That's awesome.
And don't try to change it. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's great. Don't try to change it. That's a huge part of awareness, and a huge part that a lot of LOAers miss is I thought it's bad, I got to change it. No.
Right.
Just observe it. Just have an awareness of it first. Just build the awareness first.
Yeah. And just the fact, like our brains are amazing. So if you actually start doing what we said, set a timer and write it down, your brain will automatically start shifting simply because you have to write it down. Like it will upgrade your thoughts going on inside your head because your brain knows you're going to write it down. Like it's one of the magic things about us, right? That's how we start changing, not by, oh my gosh, I just said like, I don't know, why did you do that? That wasn't a good decision or whatever. Oh, no, I got to change it. Like, oh, you make all good decisions. Like, no, like just become aware and let your brain do like the first part of the work, which it will start to upgrade your thoughts just because.
It's going to be like, I don't want that to be true. I can't write that down.
Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is like, if you're not there yet, or this is something you're wanting to strengthen within you, is same thing, like don't think you need to do it all at once, like baby steps, like let yourself be in the process, let it be okay where you are. And even just doing that practice Cassie described, things will shift. So let that be enough. And just so much more allowing energy. That is you giving the space for you to be where you are is self-love. It's being kind to yourself. So that's what I would kind of keep in the back of my head too. Like, is there a way I can be kind to myself here in this situation?
I love that you said that, because I was going to say, like, when you said, like, let it be enough, that is self-love. Like letting anything be enough, letting yourself be enough, letting the effort that you put in be enough, letting the amount of time you're paying attention to your thoughts be enough is an act of self-love. It's being loving to yourself.
Yeah. This is where it all stems from, all the magic.
It is. This is so exciting. Much magic. Changed my life.
Yeah. I love it. If you guys have any celebrations or things you want to share about experiences you've had with self-love or anything you've put into practice from this podcast, jump into our Manifest It Now podcast community group on Facebook and share your experiences or ahas. We love to celebrate in there. And then that's all for this week.
Awesome. See you soon. Talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Go be awesome.
Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.